order. Please rise to pledge allegiance to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll call the members, please.
Councilmember Southwick, here. Councilmember Maury.
Here.
Councilmember Moore.
Aye.
Supervisor Trombley.
Here.
And Councilmember Cloutier is absent.
That's great.
Okay. Could I get a approval of the minutes of the previous meeting for March 12th, please?
I'll make a motion we approve the minutes of our last meeting on March 12th, 2024.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Any revisions or corrections, additions? If not, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. So now we have our area county legislator, Calvin Castine. Would like to say a few words?
I'm going to keep it a few words too, so.
Okay.
All right. I appreciate you letting me talk here early because I want to get to the Morristown Board meeting before it gets too far into their meeting. Before I talk about the dog tethering law, I just want to touch base with you on the sales tax receipt. Hopefully the people who were up here yesterday in the Clinton County spent a lot of money because we're falling a little bit behind, as you probably may be aware. We're ahead of the projection because Mike Zerlo always is very safe in his projections, but we're down actuality of about 350,000. 8,600,000 last year and 8 million, almost 300,000 this year. So we're about 350,000 behind last year's. So just to keep that in mind as you're moving forward.
We made that much up yesterday, but I'm sure we're gonna dent. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was busy and fast.
it helps, but all 3 months so far have been behind. So hopefully that trend will change a little bit. Regarding the dog tethering law, as you know, I'm chairman of the Public Safety Committee, and it was brought to our committee to approach this to see whether or not we felt the county needed one. So we've had a lot of input from both sides. So what we're asking our town boards to do is to offer us some guidance. Obviously, if Morris tells me one thing and you guys tell me another thing, and so we got to kind of weigh the whole county when we make our decision. But basically, as I sent you in that email a couple weeks ago, the choices appear to be at this time either leaving it as it is, with the Ags and Market Law generating what your activity is regarding the dog tethering. Number 2, come up with your own law. Or number 3, Connie would come up with a law that covers the whole county, and that's where we would run into a problem, because if some towns are adamantly against it and other towns are adamantly for it, it kind of puts us in the middle. So, I think some of us are leaning toward letting each town have their own decision, but again, that's we want to get the feeling from you people on how you feel about it. And just give us something that, an email or something that will tell us, a general consensus of what the board needs. You might all, within your 4 people who are here today, have 4 different opinions, but, so pass those along to us, whatever you feel we should approach this. And if the county passes the law, the responsibility would still be with the town to enforce it. So by the county passing the law doesn't take the enforcement out of your hands. It still becomes your dog control officer is that first line of defense.
First line of defense,
yeah.
yes.
So
ultimately, if there was removal required,
obviously, if you had to go to the sheriff's department or whatever, but that first line, either way, whether we passed it or you passed it, that first line of defense is still going to be your dog control officer. And the problem is, some of the communities, some towns I've heard, I don't know this for sure, but I've heard that some towns don't have an active dog control officer, but they bring one in as needed, so I don't know, so. So that's it, if there's something you would like, ask me or tell me right now while I'm here, that I'm all ears.
Yeah, I got a question in regards to that. So if the town doesn't have a dog control officer in place, would their avenue then for that tethering law go directly to the sheriff's office for the county?
No, you're still gonna have somebody, local enforcement, calling it in. So you'd have to, shared services with another town,
Neighboring town?
shared services to do that. So, no, it wouldn't skip by the, it'd still be any law we'd pass. That's one of the things Essex has, is their own towns are the ones that take that first line of defense. And of course, as you know, they're run by a board of supervisors, but,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, you don't have
so, but yeah, that first line would still remain the responsibility of the towns. That's what we all seem to be on board as far as the county would go.
So do you know if these couple of towns that don't have dog control officers, do they currently share services with a bordering town
It's my understanding that they
for
do.
that service?
If they need, if there comes a situation where they need somebody, then they
Okay.
share it with somebody else, yeah. They get somebody else's to go in there and do that.
Okay, well, I've got it down under new business.
Brian, looked like you had a question?
No, it seems that the three options you gave us were pretty much cut and dried. I mean,
Well, if there's a fourth option you'd like to throw out there, we don't claim to have all the answers, but, this, we still looking for ideas and some way to make it work, but, right now, I would say the opinion of the legislators is that the law enforcement, and that's, again, Essex County law seems to be working, but again, it's the towns that are the ones in the first line of defense. And Lewis Supervisor Jim Monty came to our Public Safety Committee meeting. He was talking, he kept saying we, well, it was Lewis that he was talking about.
You don't have to give specifics, but is there any general feedback that the county has received from towns, and what of the three choices, which one tends to be the more popular one so far?
As far as what I've heard back, I know Mike Cashman at Plattsburgh is very adamantly wants the county to do it, but from, I know Rob Timmons told me that Peru wants to have their own law or leave it as it is. Francis Purrier has a couple towns he's talked to, and that seems to be the direction they want to take. So, if it comes, so it's still gonna be a decision on our part, but, we'd like to, have that kind of balance when we're making our decision on as to what direction to go. But, I would say if it was based on each town had one vote right now, it would be that the towns would handle it themselves. That would be my understanding of what I've been able to gather so far. But of course, like Essex County has weighted voting. If you're in the city of Plattsburgh, the town of Plattsburgh, you've got more population, so if you were in Essex County, that'd be a weighted vote. You'd have a lot of voting power in that decision right there, but,
The county won't take that into consideration, that if
who
the
knows?
town of Plattsburgh wants something, then.
I don't know. We would, we got several legislators who represent the town of Plattsburgh, so, but some who represent more than just the town, the town's kind of divided up. Say, well, this town wants to leave it as it is or do it themselves, and our fourth Plattsburgh portion wants to let the county handle it, so even those guys and gals are split too. As far as, there's no uniform. If you've got more than one town you're representing, chances are you're getting more than one answer. So I know you're gonna bring it up later, which could be here later, but.
We'll bring it up on our new business.
Yeah.
We'll have more discussion on it, and then I'll put down
Yeah,
our options and what we choose.
yeah, because the next Public Safety Committee meeting is the first Monday in May. And we'd like to, you know, we're not gonna be making a firm decision at this point, I don't think, but who knows? If we've got enough information to make a firm decision, we will. If we don't, we'll
Right.
wait till June, you know.
It's not going anywhere.
Well, I'm not gonna press the matter and rush into it when we wanna make a decision that's based on what the people want.
Mhm. Agreed. Agreed. We're still gathering information on our own too, so we feel the same way.
So, you know, even if you wanna delay it, and as long as you get it to me before my May meeting, and I think,
Well, I think we'll be fine coming up with a decision tonight, Calvin.
Yeah.
I'll email you tomorrow.
okay.
Yeah.
Anything else on the county level you're wondering about?
Wish I had time to ponder on this today. and it's coming.
I just had somebody ask me if they were gonna starting the pickup of the sand on the roads, the county roads, as soon. I mean, they were just
Hey,
throwing that out.
we got snow a week ago, where
Yes, I know.
I would say, probably not coming real soon, but I would think, you know, once we get to a point where we don't see any snow on the horizon, I think they'll start moving in those directions, because
Yeah, like
there's no sense in picking it up and throwing it back down the next day, or the next week.
I think Alan will be getting ready in the next week or so to, you know, last year at this time, they were cleaning roads.
Yeah. Okay, you never know.
I know.
Those April showers are sometimes snow showers.
Pessimist.
But sometimes. Most of the time they're not.
Yeah.
And it was a nice eclipse, you guys did a good job on the eclipse yesterday. Champlain should be proud.
Oh, and
Jason orchestrated most of
Did
it,
it?
so we owe him a lot of thanks.
I had that kind of power. No. It was really a sight to
It
behold.
was spectacular, seriously. Everything went off well. Around here, I didn't have any issues with
No,
with
no.
traffic and stuff. It was busy afterwards, folks leaving Vermont mostly,
Yeah.
from what I hear. I mean, I was,
I had a camera set up at 911 on Slade's old property.
oh, did you?
Yeah, I had a camera just to record the traffic, because it's history. It wasn't a lot of traffic. In the morning, when I was deciding where I was gonna go, there was all kinds of,
There
Traffic
was
through there.
a
It
lot
was-
of traffic
it was
coming
crazy.
through Rouse's Point,
it was crazy in the
over the
morning.
bridge.
Yeah, there were many license plates that were not
Oh,
New York,
Right,
for sure.
Okay.
It was interesting, if nothing else. Okay,
thanks, Calvin.
all right.
Thanks, Calvin. Have a good night.
I'll be watching the video, I wanna know more about the landfill.
Yep. We're gonna be discussing that
All right, take
next,
care.
actually. Okay, Mr. Ryan,
Hi,
please, introduce yourself again for the camera at
I'm
least.
Dennis Ryan. Nice to meet you. I'm the president, the CEO, executive, everything. I own ESG Energy Holdings, and we're a company that develops solar projects and renewable energy projects across New York State. And basically, we're a small company. We have my partner, Al. Al is,
Well,
Al's got 32 and a half years at the DEC, and so we're working with landfills. It's nice to have Al on our team. Our other partner is Greg Edwards, who's on the phone, or actually on the Zoom call.
can you hear us okay, Greg?
You guys are doing great, Katie, perfectly fine, thank you.
All right.
And so Greg is he's a politician amongst us. He is a former county executive. And that's what's neat about, I just want to compliment you, to have the local county representative come to a meeting. We go to a lot of meetings, and you don't see that kind of interaction. I think it's pretty cool, because you actually are talking, you know what I mean? It's like, maybe, you know, we do a lot of work on the western end of the state, you know, we live in the south, outside of Buffalo, and so we have a fun ride home tonight, but it's all good, yeah. Well, you know, the idea is we did do some work in Franklin County, so we were there today out in the sun enjoying the May temperatures, and, but, you know, we just wanted to say, it's been a real pleasure working with supervisors so far. He's got a lot of vision, I think I told you this, he's a unique being in the world of supervisors, in terms of, you know, because a lot of
Take it
times,
as a
this-
compliment.
it is totally a
It's a nice
compliment.
compliment.
Unique,
It-
for sure.
But that's what I think is cool about it, because realistically, you know, we had a conversation on the phone, we talked about a piece of land that doesn't really have a lot of use, and if we can come in and make the power available to the community residents, and then pay the town some money for unused portions of land. In addition, we have some other things, we wanna work with the school district, you know, basically, the problem is, it's just so far for us. To be honest with you, so what we try to do is, the neat thing about today being really to the meeting, which I never really, is we had a chance to drive around and look for other solar spots. And soon, I'll be putting together a little list that I would love to come back to the town. There's some spots near the school that we would love to talk with the school about, because our whole MO is to kind of leave the campsite nicer than when we found it. In terms of, we like working where we can make a difference. And what's cool about an area like this, is a small company, we can make a difference out here. And we have a community benefit agreement where we donate to the town. And, you know, most of the time, that donation is to be used for, you know, natural resources and promoting access, like in Frewsburg. We're working on putting in a adaptive fishing platform, so the town residents can go fishing safely on Conowongo Creek. And that's part of our giving back to the community. And so that's what's neat about talking with Tom, is when I explained that to him, he's like, oh, I got this property, and then we looked at, you know, several properties in the area, because one of the things we're interested in is putting in charging stations for vehicles. So we looked at a pretty cool piece of property, Petro Canada, up on 11, you know, and that seems to be, was that right, Petro
Yeah,
Canada?
it was a Petro-Canada station, yes.
And so, you know, the idea there is what we're doing with our charging stations is we wanna actually have a nice waiting room, cloud-based waiting room with, you know, vending machines and things like that. So that way, when people are waiting, bathrooms, when people are waiting to charge their vehicles, they have an opportunity there. Our goal is to actually have the solar power the chargers. So that's where we're trying to work out, that a lot of our sites, we put like a 3 megawatt solar project in, we put 1,000 square foot charging station with chargers, and basically the solar helps the actual charging station, and it's kind of a symbiotic relationship. And so we're excited by the landfill, you know, we just wanted to come up and introduce ourselves and say, we're excited for the landfill, and we'd like to see this move forward in a positive way in the next few months.
Okay, that's great. So, you've been provided a site plan. I don't think the site plan has changed since the last time
Well, last time we met with the CEO, and I made the changes, but I haven't changed it since then,
okay.
because there were setbacks and questions related to the housing, and how we were gonna work with the existing road for the shooting club and things like that.
Yeah.
You know, we wanna make sure they're happy, you know, because that's the thing, we wanna be a good neighbor, you know, if, in a perfect world, we would love to lease 30 acres of land,
Mm-hmm.
and basically, you know, utilize it to generate solar energy. Greg, you wanna add anything?
No, I think you've done a good job kind of outlining the approach. I can relay to the supervisor and town board that we work very closely with the local elected officials. I served as the county executive for Chautauqua County for 8 years, and prior to that was an assistant public defender as part of my legal career. And my first trip to Clinton County was when I was asked to serve with Rick Blasio as his lieutenant governor candidate. So I drove from Mayville to Clinton County and really got a great, a much better understanding of how vast the state is. But also when I landed in Clinton County, I realized it was like a duplicate, a replica of Chautauqua County, with a mixture of farmland and the apple groves that I was seeing, and then, you know, access to the wonderful waterfront. So we have a great deal in common with Chautauqua County and Clinton County, and I look forward to getting up there if this project's able to go forward. But I'm happy to answer any questions anybody has. Our focus, though, is working with the local electeds, because I'm intimately familiar. My father was a town supervisor for almost 20 years, and my sister was a town clerk, and so I know that's where the rubber meets the road. is in the town governments around the state, and it's important, and it's important for us to understand what your needs and desires are, and to work very closely with you.
Okay, appreciate that. But back to the site plan, I noticed we're not working around the right-of-way for the shooting club. I thought we originally were.
You know, the site plan is early in the draft phase, so, you know, basically what we were hoping for today was to have this kind of discourse, and then basically move forward if there is something, because I think we, you know, since the eclipse the other day, which you guys were lucky to see, all we saw were clouds that came through, we were,
Oh, you
you
didn't
know,
have
we were
clear
happy
sky?
to actually see, but it did get there, you know, but it wasn't as vibrant as it was here.
Yeah.
But what we spoke about a while ago was possibly putting a road to the left side of the property that would be an access point for the actual, but you know, the reality is if we put the road where it is now, it's gonna cost me more in fence, cause I have to fence both sides, cause we can't have people going into the, so if we could stick it to one side and make it good, or make, you know, it's all a process, or as they say across the border, process, you know? And basically, you know, that's the conversation that we're looking to have, to figure out the best way for this to work out. At the outset, the first phase of the project is, it's probably 8 acres, so I think that would be pretty easy to do over to the left, and, you know, right in that neck of the woods.
So outside of this set of arrays then?
Right within the set of arrays, but if you wanted to see, we'd probably be looking at this the first part here, so it wouldn't mess with the roads. You know what I mean? So the first phase could be in this neck of the woods, then we would figure out the best way for us, as I say, to all sit on the bus together, so that the shooting club is happy, and you know, bullets and solar panels don't go well together. I just wanted to bring that up, you know what I mean, so.
Thankfully, their shooting range is facing north.
Right.
So you're saying that you have another option besides fencing alongside of the current road, and that's possibly moving the road?
If it's acceptable to all parties. You know, if we're gonna lease the 30 acres.
Probably acceptable, I just know there's some wetland right in this corner
Now,
that we would have to.
there's a big debate we have, as opposed, we have wet land or wetlands. And so that would be up to our expert. If our expert says, hey, no problem, because a lot of times with the road, you have to bring fill in. And so that would be a no-no if it was a federal or state wetlands. So if that's the case, then we throw it back and we'll have to figure out the best way to move forward. You know, there's no problem with the road being where it is right now. And we would just have to put fence on both sides of it. So you'd be driving down a corridor with kit dust all over solar panels and everything like that. But, you know, that's kind of, it is what it is. If that's what they need to get back there, then we'd love to work with them. You know, that's some of the things related to Councilmember Bory, you work in the school district. Well, we actually have a Green Apprentice program that we're starting to roll out, which is a virtual and in-person education program to teach kids how to, I use the wrong terms, I'm old, so please forgive me, to teach kids how to install solar. And the thing is with the Inflation Reduction Act and New York law, the project that we have at the landfill has to be paid prevailing wage. Prevailing wage in this area for a Solar One level technician is $47 an hour. It's 97 grand a year. So you know how much someone has to, like, and so what we're doing, this is part of our giving back, leaving the campsite nicer, is doing our Green Apprentice program, working, we have, I mentioned, we work with this gentleman, Colonel David Dudas. He's a retired colonel in the Army who has an engineering, procurement, and construction company that's disabled service veteran owned. So the colonel, as I refer to him, is our builder of our projects. He's also he's got the professor for our Green Apprentice program. And so we're excited. We're starting in May, we're gonna be offering this program. In the fall, we're gonna be working with BOCES and other school districts. And this is a cool way for us to actually offer the opportunity. Because like I said to supervise, if I gotta drive all the way here, I'm gonna do more projects around here. So I'm not driving here for one project, because it's a long way to go. And so that's just how I work. You know, we're in Steuben County, we have 7 projects in Chautauqua County. And we have none in Erie County where I live. That's a bummer, you know, but we'll get that squared away. But anyway, you know, the idea is, you know, for us to actually help the community. Because as a politician, you could probably understand that if these kids are gonna make 97 grand a year, imagine if we graduated 100 kids in a few years. That's a substantial pension payroll that comes into the community, and it's for good jobs. The solar industry is growing through the roof. I mean, it's crazy, you've seen it out here, you know what I mean? And so, we're excited by that part of our, and that's where when we work with the school, we didn't wanna reach out to the school yet, because we're still getting our feet wet over with the landfill and getting the lay of the land and figuring that out, like working with the old Furrier, looking at that place, or the place up on 11. And so, you know, that's kind of our motivation, is to come in, and between our community benefit program, the lease that we would pay the town, and the actual Green Apprentice program, there's a lot of benefits for a little company. We can make a difference. So that's our goal.
Okay. Well, when we get to the, closer to the point of putting an application in, you'll provide all that documentation of what the community benefits are gonna be, and et cetera. And then we're, you know, prepared. I told you we made some revisions to the solar law a while ago, and as you're aware of the building permit fee is high on solar, and if there's community benefit, of course, leasing the land is one of them. We put right in our law that if it benefit, if it's on town property, we would make adjustments, so we'll have to.
And that's the cool thing about a project like
A
this.
resolution to either waive or reduce.
And so our goal is to get in the next 30, 60 days to get the application in, so that we can actually, I wanna get the engineers out there and basically wetlands guy and have confirmation. I'd like to speak to the shooting club. Perhaps you may be able to introduce me to that,
Yeah,
someone
I can.
out there. I think you gave me their name a while ago.
Yeah, I think I've actually got a better contact now. He's been really involved. He's been like the lead, involved in all of the details. We actually dug up the agreement. There is a right-of-way for him. That
Okay.
is an actual legal right-of-way.
Well, that's good. We'll honor the right of way. You know, we'll put the solar away from it, and we don't wanna get in conflict with any sort of.
I'm sure they'd be open to creating another roadway too, though, don't get me wrong. It's just I do know there's a couple of DEC wetlands right in the corner here, and they own property across the top here. There's another piece before it gets to Ridge Road.
And realistically, I'm all for keeping it simple.
And I don't know what has to be done to get across that with the road.
Right.
No.
And it's a more problem than we need to make it, in terms of, because there's a lot of things you learn when you get in this business, and one of them is to steer clear of wetlands. So, you know, if there's like federal wetlands, we have to cut the trees by hands if there is any tree cutting, and, you know, basically it's a fun thing to do. So, yeah, the idea is if you have a right of way, you know, if we can use the road to help us access, we'll make the road better for them, you know what I mean?
I'm sure
What
we can
have
do
you,
that.
you know, the idea is to be a good neighbor, and that's our goal. So if, and once we figure out the best way forward, yeah, it'll be easy.
So whenever you're ready to have a conversation with him, we can either do some kind of a Zoom like this, or we can have a conference call, however you wanna do it, so you don't have to drive up here. But I'm sure he'd be very willing to come in and have a talk with you.
Nice, well, I like coming up here, so I really, it doesn't bother me, but
Okay.
it's just far, getting up here is the hard thing, you know what I mean, getting in the schedule is the hard part. But, you know, the thing is, that's it, if we have a project to come up to, we're up here all the time, you know, like Chautauqua County, I'm there weekly, you know, I don't be, you know, I don't be there weekly, like, say I have a friend that wants to fly me in his airplane, I'm a little nervous about that, you know, like, but anyway, yeah, that's our method of operation, that's our objective related to working with the community. And if you have any questions, I'd welcome to answer them.
I don't want us to forget too, that the road goes in back of the shooting range, and that's the secondary access for the town to his site, to the landfill site. So that's now a secondary entrance. There's a gate on that side.
He uses that road.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we do is we consult with the fire company as well for safety, with regards to, you know, the road, if it's not wide now, our typical road is 20 feet wide.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, that's what the road would be, because we wanna use it to get to our solar, but the fire company has to be able to go down to a certain point. And that's where when we get into the actual permeable and impermeable land, I don't wanna bore you, but realistically, the first 100 or 200 feet of the road is the actual part that we use a fabric, and it's, it's stabilized. From that point after, it's just, we use dust control measures. So, the permeability and everything, we will make sure the project is designed so that everything is close to the roadway, so if there ever is a fire issue, that they would be able to get to the closest part. And then in between the rows, they're usually wide enough to drive an ATV or a pickup truck, 14 feet, something like that. So, that's basically our goal, but with the landfill, this is gonna be what they call a ballasted foundation, where we basically take a chain link box and fill it with rocks. And the solar panels connect to that. And basically it sits on top, doesn't mess with the membrane or anything subsurface. That's why this guy's here, to keep us out of DEC trouble. And basically, well, cause there's DEC jail, I don't know if you guys know that. I didn't know that. So, anyway, I digress. But yeah, basically, I'd love to come back. In the meantime, if we could, Supervisor, connect with the shooting club, because we'll make sure that drawing is updated, particularly to make sure that they are, because they're the neighbor, they're a neighbor, they're an affected party, they're a stakeholder. And so just like the town's a stakeholder, just like, we want to make sure there's no, like when we put our solar projects in, like in the one we're working on in Bustite, we put a 125-foot border of trees from the roadway so no one can see our project. Because the idea is, if you want to fly a drone, you could probably see it, but you can stick solar in the woods, as long as the trees are cut down, but you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be seen, so it doesn't have to interfere with the view shed. And that's part of being a smart developer, putting solar in the right property, in the right project location, as opposed to taking a cornfield and saying, we're gonna put solar here, which takes valuable farmland out of use.
It's nice that if you go further to the west, you're gonna run into the interstate, so you're hemmed in by interstate, not somebody's houses.
And that's nice too, because then you don't have to mess around with someone saying, oh, I don't wanna look at this.
Yeah.
Because like in Bustite, I went and sat on the neighbor's front porch across the street. And at the town board meeting, I said, I designed this project just so you wouldn't see it. Because I sat on your front porch, you weren't home. So basically, I knocked on the door and he wasn't home, but I sat there in his chaise lounge. And I said, okay, how can I design this project? Because they're higher up and the project's down here. And so basically we worked out, with the engineers, a way to all sit on the bus together and be happy. What else can you ask for?
That's cool.
So, great.
Anybody have any questions for me regarding the landfill project?
How many other projects you've overseen, produced, that are similar to this, where you've done landfill as the basis? Is this your first one, or is this?
Well, this is our third one in the first bunch.
Okay.
So we have 3 landfills that we're working on. I kind of like landfills. I like landfills. He wants to put a bumper sticker that says, I heart
landfills. I'm putting it on his car.
Yeah. So, because, when you get out there, it's really peaceful though, you know what I mean, when you walk on it. But anyway, yeah, we have 3 under development right now that are all in various stages. Working with municipalities, they can close landfill. One of them's 122 acres. The town is gonna be happy as a pig in a poke. I
That's a
love working
big
with them.
landfill.
Yeah.
Is it all landfill or is it surrounding land?
It's 35 acres of landfill surrounded by the balance. We bought some extra land. And, so we're paying the town a pretty amount of money, good amount of money in our community donations. We're putting in their fishing platform, and things like that. But that's, taking a piece of land that really doesn't have a lot of use and making solar for the next 40 years. Hopefully I'll be alive that long to see this project kind of going. So.
In regards to the school project, do you want me to set something up so we can meet?
Remember we had a good meeting with the colonel, and they were trying to get that grant. There was a federal grant. And being a disabled service veteran organization, they qualify for a lot of options that we don't. And so I would welcome that, because the school is one of the best places we can make a difference. If the school's gonna buy charging, if start buying buses, like a lot of them are, you know, we can offer charging services. We're talking to a couple of school districts that don't have the infrastructure in place, and we can actually come in and put in a charger that actually is charged by solar power to charge the buses. Fast charger, 480 volts. And then we just charge the school by a kilowatt that they spend. So it's basically simple, because you know, a lot of times these schools in some rural areas, they have to put a heavy amount of infrastructure in. You know, but what's really cool about a school project would be utilize non-use space to put solar in and make it a living laboratory for our Green Apprentice program. And then save the school money, because they'll get carbon offsets and what have you, and, you know, just be a good, do the same thing we're doing with the landfill with the school. Now, the landfill, we're hoping to turn into a community project, which I don't know if you've had community projects in the area. A community project is a project that's residents in the same zip code
Really?
can, well, you can get a discount on your solar,
Yeah.
on your electric bill, 10 to 20% a month, and basically participate in the project.
Yes, so we have one in place now, and that's on the Robinson Farm.
And what would think though, is if it's a big enough project, it'll take all the consumers from the town and we won't have anybody. So, you know, that's just the, it is what it is. But we did talk to the town about participating in this project, in the utility credit sharing. We have an agreement that we put together last year. So that's pretty cool, because that'll save the town, you know, annual amount on the cost of electricity, plus the town gets to say, we're participating here. We're gonna offset our carbon footprint with the landfill solar project. That's cool.
Right,
I
and looking
mean-
for the town usage of electricity only, not the township.
Because what happens is, when we generate electricity on the solar project, you could either do one of two ways. One way is actually if you have a company next door and you wanna put it to them, right to the substation, like we're doing with the Cummins engine plant in Jamestown. It's a $500,000 manufacturing plant, and our solar project's right next door. We're going 450 feet to their substation. Or we can do a front of the meter, in which the utility, and I said, creates credits, net metering credits. And so what we do is we have a utility credit sharing arrangement, where if a credit comes in for $1, we share the amount of the dollar. You know, so that's how I pay for the solar panel, with the majority portion of the credit. And then basically the town gets to keep the environmental attribute, so it offsets your carbon footprint and saves money on the electric bill. So, lease, landfill, saving money on the electric bill, community benefit donation, and the Green Apprentice program. It's pretty cool. Doesn't cost the town anything, except for your time, which is valuable.
Do you have anything in regards to the charging station project, or that moved anywhere? You kinda indicated you wanted to save somebody for the meeting.
You're funny. Well, the issue with that property is twofold. The sign is with the Burger King building,
Mhm.
because I'm a former advertising guy. I used to be in the billboard business, so I used to ruin the quality of lives in towns along highways. And basically, one of the things we're looking for with our charging station is the opportunity for a digital display to drive traffic into the site. As a former billboard guy, I know firsthand, because all of my customers I used to have loved billboards because it drove people in. And as a business that we're gonna rely on people coming from the interstate, it's important. So we still have some details to work out. I have had some contact with via email with the owners,
Okay, good.
and, you know, it's a process. You know, that's the idea. The cool thing is our funder is interested in the site at Petro Canada, and that's awesome, because if he's not interested, then I sit there and go, how am I gonna pay for this?
Mhm.
You know, and that's the neat thing. We love the idea of reusing the building. I'm a little scared about the mold and things inside the building. I think we might have to knock it down and use our own design, which is okay, but it's all gonna depend on economics. Because the reality is, even though you guys made money off the solar eclipse yesterday, we didn't in Buffalo, and we were right in the center of the center. And so basically, that's an example of life lesson from solar. You know, doing solar in Buffalo, people think, you know, because we have projects in Florida that we're working on, it's just pretty funny, because you go down to Florida, the same project costs $10 million a year, costs $10 million down there, actually gives us twice the generation, so we don't need the incentives, you know,
That's why
and
they
so.
call it Sunshine State.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
And that's the whole thing, I'm like, oh, we're doing solar in Buffalo, why are you not doing it in the Sunshine State, you know what I mean? And actually, Al and I, we like fishing, so, you know, if our wives will let us get down there. But anyway, yeah, the plan is to come in, get things going with the landfill, and then figure out the best place for us to sit on the bus with the school, you know, with the actual, if the place on 11 works, it works for me as a high-profile guy. You got a Burger King right next door. Burger King was my customer in the billboard business for 20 years. I know where they put their sites, so if that was a Burger King there, it was there for a reason. Petro Canada, the same reason. So we know we've got a good spot there. Now, how much is it worth is the key. Because sometimes those guys from Canada, they think their stuff is worth more than it is, because it's American dollars, you know what I mean? And I love Canada. I used to own a newspaper in the 90s. It was distributed on the newsstand in Toronto, telling the Canadians where to come in the Western New York area. Back in the day when they had cross-border shopping, I don't know if you remember that around here. Sure, the mall did pretty well.
That's why it was there, yeah.
Yeah, and so basically, you know, that's how it is, but, you know, like I said, Supervisor, our goal is to come out here, focus on the landfill first, get the school district involved, and then figure out the best way for us to move forward, and because the community benefit donation to the school can also be for unused land, you know what I mean? I understand there's some cross-country trails that perhaps we might be able to utilize that area to put down solar and not have an impact, and, you know, because that's the idea, use the best place for it, so.
Build me a dog park.
Dennis is basically, we
I'll be
had
all
that
for it.
meeting with Rob. I guess it was last summer sometime, huh?
It was August 29th.
August 29th.
Okay.
Just looked it up.
Yeah, buddy, this went so fast.
Yeah.
Will your,
Really receptive, we just need to, he's providing some, a proposal, email to me, I've gotta sit with Rob, I'll provide that to him and see where he wants to go, if he wants to go to the board, if he wants to meet again with Dennis, or.
Because the cool thing about the highway project, there's actually some land behind it that could be used. Now, the uncool thing about that is the zoning code has setbacks that like make so much of it not usable, and that causes some issues, so, like I said, it's a balance.
Yeah, but we had spoke with with Chris, with the code officer, and we're quite confident if you provide us with what your need is, he felt that some of those setbacks, because of what's behind it, can be reduced.
Awesome.
It'd be a variance.
Because wouldn't that be cool? Solar on site, used right there
Mhm.
to just charge cars, you know?
Oh, yeah, I'm really excited about that project, I'm hoping it can come to fruition.
Oh, you've been great about it. Now, the Tim Horton thing, that's a little disappointing, because we'll still work with them, we'll see. Because we want to work with Tim Hortons, because I'm addicted to the caffeine. And basically, so in our charging stations, you know, there's opportunities that you haven't really think of when someone has to sit there for an hour. You know what I mean? And so basically, we've had conversations, because Tim Hortons is starting to do 950 square foot drive-throughs only, that they can plop on a little piece of land. And that's what we were looking for possibly on Ridge Road, you know what I mean? But someone's putting storage on that property next to the,
Supposedly, yes.
yeah. So, you know, it is, we've got a lot of ideas. And like I said, you know, as we sit here and drill down from 10,000 foot view and elevation to what way it makes sense in the town, the sky's the limit.
Okay.
have you made provision for the natural gas pipeline in phase 2?
If-
Because they have a right of way through there?
If there's a natural gas pipeline, what we do, it's a town property, right?
Mhm.
So, because we just ran into this, we don't like national gas, because I bought the piece of property, it just come out that they had gas wells on it, we thought, oh, let's just go to the gas wells, and that's where the right of way is. No, I had to pay for the surface rights. Craig over there has been, so he used to have a full head of dark hair when I first met me. And basically, so we ended up having to pay the gas company $100,000, because they have the surface rights. So we're gonna have to nail down with those little,
Yeah, because I can guarantee you that there is a natural gas.
but on the
pipeline.
landfill, they won't have the surface rights on the landfill.
Oh,
No,
no, this is your second phase.
Yeah, Right,
It runs on that eastern portion of the town line.
so
On the east side.
basically, as we drill down, that's what's
Thank you for
cool
that.
about having a phased approach, so you can find out where the landmines are.
Yeah, I mean, it's well marked, if you go up there, you can see exactly where it
And
is.
next time we come, if we can get on site, that would be awesome, take a ride around, because I think, I've only seen it from the road a couple times.
Right, we only visited for a few minutes, but yeah, we should get in there and have a better look.
Because if that's the kind of, we'll bring our technicians with us and all the smart people, and they can do all their stuff, you know what I mean? And basically, get the reports and get us squared away and take us from 10,000 foot in elevation to 2,000 feet,
Okay,
you know?
okay.
Cool,
Welcome that whenever you're ready.
excellent. We're motivated. Now, Dog park, is this woman behind us? She's like,
I mean, I used to live in Virginia Beach and we had Mount Trashmore and it was a massive park and it was a landfill. It was turned into a massive park and it was completely awesome. That's Virginia Beach, yeah.
and it's funny, you were just talking about the dog law, you know, the
Yeah.
voting law, you know.
Yeah, fit right in.
It's a good pro.
Mhm.
Cool. Thank you very much for
Thank you.
your time.
Well, thank you.
Sorry for talking so long during your meeting, you probably got a lot of stuff
Very
on.
informative.
Good,
You know, you
good.
made a long drive, you gotta give it, gotta get as much out of you
Well,
as I
Tim
can.
Hortons, that's it, yeah, he'll be,
Tim Hortons.
we'll pull in about 2 o'clock, you know, it's all good though, you know. That's what's fun about being road warriors, in New York, you realize you could have driven to North Carolina at the same time, you know what I mean? But it's all good. So, you know, like I said, we'll be in touch, I'll, through the supervisor, I'll provide updates if you're interested, and if you need us to come back as we drill down, we're more than welcome.
Well, thank you for considering us. We are, our vision is, it seems like you're gonna fit right in with that. So
That's awesome.
we really do appreciate you coming and taking the time to explain yourselves and talk about this project, and it's very exciting.
Thank you,
Thank you.
and good luck with the play next week.
Oh, thank you.
That's awesome. It's like managing a box of puppies, I manage 50 kids, you know. things like that.
yes.
Well, thank you, everybody. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Safe travels.
Safe travels.
Take care.
Thank
you.
Thank you, have a good night.
You too.
Okay. Presentations, communications from,
Do you see how red my face is right now?
the Warren?
No, I'm just so sad.
No?
So I've really learned throughout this entire dog law process that I would make the worst politician on the planet because I call it like it is. And that's just the truth of it,
Mhm.
okay? My biggest hurdle throughout this entire thing has been people spreading misinformation and crushing things in ways they don't understand. And that just happened again here tonight, and I'm very sorry about that, and it's not my fault, but all I do is clean up messes. It happens everywhere I go. You know, they go on the front of the Press Republican, and they say that all the towns want it at the town level. When in fact, this individual was talking about 2 towns, and when I confirmed with those 2 towns hadn't even made up their mind yet. So all I do is clean up messes. And I'm just very frustrated. You had asked the question, if you don't have an animal control officer, who would handle it? In the Essex County law, it clearly states that the state police or the sheriff's department can respond to a complaint if one comes up. So it's fully in here. No, not all the towns are wanted at the town level. In fact, I've been on the phone for months, and specifically in the last 2 weeks, trying to figure out where our hurdles are. And in fact, there's only been 2. There's one, which is Saranac. He doesn't want it specifically because he doesn't want his town overregulated. That's his reason. But the legislator for that town is pro the law at the county. We're now at a 50-50 split at the public safety meeting. So it makes me mad when you're led to believe that this is not being pursued by the county and at the legislator level. We have 2 legislators who are they are waiting to hear from their town supervisors, and they're open-minded. Love them, they'll ask questions, learn, listen. That's my dream town supervisor and legislator with an open mind. We have 3 that are so dead against this that they will do anything to crush it and will not stop at anything. And it's very aggravating to me because we're trying to do a good thing here. You know, they say that, oh, the old law works just fine. Well, I can show you 2 dogs up in Moores. One has been tied up for 11 years of its life in the middle of a field. 11 years with no human contact. And you're telling me that the Ag and Markets law is working. No, it's not. It's not working. It took us 3 years, the neighbors, blood, sweat, and tears to even get the sheriff's department to go out and look at those dogs and Moores. It's not working the way it is. It's too subject to interpretation for the animal control officers who may not be well trained because they don't deal with a lot of complaints in this area. I watched your town meeting last month where Jody came in. I sat at home and I had steam coming out my ears because again, he has not done his research. And I was so upset because it's not difficult to call Essex County and talk to an animal control officer. I spoke with 7 of them and I've asked them questions. We had the Lewis supervisor in the meeting at the public safety meeting and he confirmed it is a way of life in Essex County. The law is in place to educate people. If you have a complaint, let's say, you know, Julie, you have a neighbor who is tying their dog 24/7 and it's a nuisance to your neighbor and to you. Maybe you don't have a noise ordinance. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. It's legal to leave that dog there 24/7 and it's suffering. And when a dog is out like that, it is neglected. 9 times out of 10, it's not going to have its license, its vaccinations, and it's going to be forgotten about. But right now that's legal.
Well,
I'm not going to talk long, I promise.
well, I don't think you need to try to give us more data, you know, from your point of view or from your research.
Well, I want to answer questions, but I
Because
want
we're trying to gather our own. Tonight, we're gonna simply make a decision on basically what organization is going to, the options, who's gonna,
I
who we
know.
prefer to write the law. I don't think that we are gonna decide that, oh, we're just totally against it, because I think we're very open-minded, and we're trying to really get educated on it before we make decisions.
Right.
So I think this is just a beginning step, you know, maybe we let the county, I'll just throw this out there, it's not a decision, but if we were to let the county know that we are in favor of them, it might tip that scale that you're referring to of the 50-50, and maybe that committee will write the law. I don't know. If they don't, it comes back to us, and we're gonna continue figuring out the best way to move forward.
I just want to make sure you guys have all the facts because literally, like I said, all I have been doing is crushing rumors. Now I needed to go. I was sitting here sweating because I got to get to Moore's and crush what he just said. And it's like, I wanted to just tell you that it is a way of life in Essex. It is not the only county. It may be run by a board of supervisors, but I have a long list of other counties in New York and cities and communities in New York and across the country that have this law in place. Once people are educated, they can then know it's not to go out and write fines for everybody. Jody's not going to be on every single person's doorstep every 5 minutes, but it's there so that he can go out and talk to them and say, hey, listen up. This is not legal anymore in the county. You need to go and do something about it. And they can have the dog on a tether or a trolley system for up to 12 hours. They can have a fence. They can have a kennel, outdoor kennel. And that's all they need to do. You know, it's an educational tool. It's not to go out and cite people left and right. And it's working in Essex, and that's what it's there for. But it stops, what we're worried about is the 24/7 neglect that is occurring, and it's all over.
I know, and what we're concerned about is writing a law that is difficult to enforce.
But it's not.
Well,
Because
it can be, because you do have to have somebody willing to sign that complaint and stand behind that they witnessed this dog out for that long. Just recently, this past week, we had someone who was reporting a dog that was underfed and being abused, but they would not sign the complaint. They said, no, I want to remain anonymous. That worries me. The same thing will happen with this. And if that happens, then it's difficult to enforce. I'm not saying we're not going to try to figure out some way to do it, but that's a problem when you create a law that can't be enforced. It's a lot of it's a lot of money put up front to.
And it's hard when somebody says, yeah, I saw the dog out there for 2 hours straight. Well, where were you for the 2 hours? well, I was doing the dishes, and then I went and painted in the back room, and then I went upstairs and put the laundry away, and then I came back and looked out the window, and the dog was still there. You know, you haven't had the dog under your view for 2 hours, so how can you say that the dog has been out there for 2 hours?
But it's not 2 hours is not the issue. It's the neglect of
Yeah,
leaving
you
them
choose
day
Well, the
after
neglect,
day.
you know,
Yeah.
but the thing is, I don't like it either when I see dogs out there, who I believe have been out there for a long time, and it's cold, and they're not Newfoundlands like mine, that love to be outside and it's below
Yeah,
zero.
it depends on the breed, there's a lot that
And
would have
that's
to
a
go into
lot,
the law.
breed, my gosh, I had,
Depends a lot on the breed.
It's the chain.
Yeah,
It's
I
not an
agree.
outdoor ban,
No,
it's
I-
a chain. It's who would
Well-
wanna live their life on a chain with it around your neck. A lot of times people don't even go to check that it's choking them, or they can be choked to death wrapped around a tree. I mean, it's the chain. That's the
Jennifer,
issue.
I agree, I don't like seeing a dog on a chain either. But I've also seen dogs outside temporarily on a chain because the folks can't go out for a half an hour with them on a leash for whatever reason. Maybe they're elderly, maybe they're trying to get ready for work, they put the dog out. You know, I witnessed one in the village of Champlain on my bus run this morning. He was fine, he was on a chain, he was hooked to the porch.
And I get that, but that's not a month or a year or 5 years.
I know, so we got a lot to figure out if we move forward with it, okay?
I know, but I've just like
Don't
had,
misunderstand us.
I get it. The other thing I needed to discuss, and I'm very sorry. So, tonight I walked my dogs, again. I do this every day when the weather's nice. Going down, oh God, South Street. Once again, a dog is chasing me 3 blocks, or not 3 blocks, 3 houses a block. Because it's not tied, it has nothing on it, and that's like, when you're walking a dog, that's not a good time. But I thought that we had put a law in place
We
that was,
did.
but then I went and read it. And is this what we really put in the law? No dog which bites, snaps, or threatens a person walking, jogging, or riding shall be allowed to run free. Is that our leash law in Champlain now? Is that all I saw? That's what's online.
No, there's gotta be more in a different paragraph somewhere, more detail, but, cause there is a leash law.
Yeah, I thought so, because I'm like, I'm telling this lady,
I think you're gonna find it in a different section.
okay, I'll go, because I was like
What?
shocked.
But, again, I'll tell you like somebody else I spoke with on the phone over the weekend, please go online and file a dog complaint. Give us the address, a description of the dog, and Jody will go look into it. Without the complaint, it's very difficult.
Well, I was gonna
If
give
you
her
don't put
the
it in
one
writing.
chance, because I'll be walking by there tomorrow, but I figured if it continued, I would call. Because, you know, I'm trying to do something good here, I don't need my name involved with a complaint, but the dog wasn't dangerous. I was just trying to explain to her, you know, you can't have your dog running free in your yard.
This was in the village, by the way, right?
Yeah, it was
So
tonight.
Did you go to the village dog law?
No, I mean, I spoke to the mayor, I said, because she knows what it's frustrating when you're walking in this, because we warn each
Well, just wanna make sure
other.
you check the right law,
Right.
that's all.
I mean, if it's a village, so it would not fall under Champlain at all, really.
the
But-
dog control officer follows each municipality's dog control laws.
Right, and when we
So-
revised ours last year, both villages were supposed to follow suit and put those same revisions in their law, so they were all pretty much the same to make it easier for dog control officer, right? But I know that the village has still not got theirs back from their attorney yet, so it's not completed,
Right, I knew that.
so.
I thought
you
it
would
fell
have-
under it.
But you would have to we would have to go under their dog control law.
I thought it was on like an
And
umbrella
I know there's a
situation.
leash law,
No.
there is in the town too, so there must be another paragraph.
Yeah, it's the first thing that came up and I was like, oh God, no, I hope that's not the way it is. Because here I am telling this lady, put her dog on a leash. And I'm looking stupid, but I didn't like being chased by the way, a dog just had puppies and it's probably not licensed and, you know, it's great, so. Does anybody have any questions though about the tether law at all that I can answer?
No, and I think we've kind of killed our 5 minutes.
I'm sorry.
By threefold.
Well, I wanna make sure you have the right information, that's
Well,
all.
we're gathering it, you know, and the council member Hunter is working on that. He is doing research to come back to the board with detailed information. And when he feedback. If we think we need more, I'll either have him contact you or one of us will. Okay?
Yep. I
We're
appreciate.
working on it, Jennifer.
Oh,
This
I
will
know.
happen-
See-
It will not happen overnight.
Well, a lot of the legislators are honestly ready to vote like now. And they keep dragging it out for months and months, and they're literally ready to vote. And, you know, I just think about the dog up on there, just keeps spending day after day chained. I just can't, you know, there's like 25 of us that are upset about it, so. But thank you guys, I appreciate it.
You're welcome, Jennifer. Have a good night.
You too, bye.
Thank you.
Okay. Report from the supervisor. Papers on what? Good evening. Congratulations to Village of Rouse's Point Mayor John Labonte and trustees Brian Pelkey and Benjamin Arno, AKA Benny, on their election to office. And congratulations to Village of Champlain trustees Chuck Connor and Joel Herzog on their election to office. I always find a typo when I do this. The attendance for the solar eclipse was significant as expected throughout the North Country. This was certainly a very spectacular event to witness for all ages, and it presented everything from small gatherings to large gatherings at businesses. The additional visitors traveling to our region provided a nice boost for local businesses. The Town of Champlain online payment option for our water and sewer billing is up and running and being utilized. Please visit our website to make payments for water and sewer billing online for your convenience. The Highway Department was busy last week with our spring snowstorm. Now, hopefully, weather permitting, they will be sweeping sand and cleaning the roads in the coming weeks. I believe Alan's planning on within the next 2 weeks, so please be aware of them in your travels and slow down when in the work zone for their safety and yours. Following that, the traffic delineators will be installed again on Prospect Road along the trail sometime after the sweeping ends. And please drop off your eclipse glasses, here at the town office for recycling. We will collect them for several weeks and then ship them to the central collection site. They will be sent to Latin America for children to safely enjoy the August 2024 eclipse there. New York veterans and their families will now have free access to state parks and other amenities throughout the state. Beginning Monday, April 1st, veterans and Gold Star families who are state residents can get into state parks, campgrounds, day use areas, historic sites and recreation areas for free through the expansion of the Lifetime Liberty Pass program. So just check that out on the website, on their website. You Google Gold Star or Lifetime Liberty Pass. Please visit our website and Facebook page for more information on events going on around town. Town of Champlain Code Enforcement software program is now live on our website. You can now complete an application for building permits electronically and submit them on the site. The code officer will review the application, submit approval to the applicant by email, which will include a link to submit payment online. Visit our website, go to Residents, Building Permits, Permit Application. For those who do not have access to the web, contact the code enforcement officer for hard copy assistance. Youth programs. The leadership team met last month to review this year's joint youth agreement. As always, the three municipalities are working together to fund this invaluable program. We discussed the details within the summer swim program. We are planning on conducting the program here at NCCS once again, as the pool should be available by June. The baseball and softball forms were sent out a few weeks ago, and the swimming program sign-up packets will be sent out this month. Note, if anyone is interested in becoming qualified as a lifeguard, please inquire at the NCCS Administration Office. Report on projects. Comprehensive plan revision. We held our first comp plan committee meeting last month, and the next is scheduled for tomorrow night, April 10th. These committee meetings are closed meetings, however, there will be open public meetings held periodically throughout the process to gain feedback from the community. We will be posting the project timelines, meeting minutes, and general information on the comp plan on our website. Please visit our website periodically to keep informed. Miramar. The 19 acres with the mall, our letter of intent for Restore New York Round 8 funding was approved. We have started the process of filing the application, which has a May 22nd deadline for submittal. So there'll be a lot of work to do there. The 22 acres to the north of the mall that was submitted for housing. We're still waiting for funding for a feasibility study. This study is for working class single family homes. This is currently in the hands of the Lake George, Lake Champlain Regional Planning. Hopefully soon I will have more details to report. But additionally, I have been in contact with the Governor's Office and New York State Homes and Community Renewal, HCR, for funding assistance. I am starting the process to become, with your approval, a pro-housing community, because that's where we'll gain access to grant funding. So I just started working on that. We can talk about it more if you'd like. Bob Fitness, I just call it Bob Fitness Center here.
Okay.
The Bob Venn Fitness Center project, or Fitness Court and Pickleball Court project. We have just received a second donation of $5,000 from Hudson Headwaters Health Network toward this project. Thank you for your generous support totaling $10,000 to date. That's really wonderful. We have received approval from New York State Historic Preservation Office for the installation of the fitness and pickleball court. So the question in regards to the historical buffer zone has been answered, and they've given us a green light to move forward. We are currently proceeding with the secret process, and for this, we hope to have the letter of approval from SHPO and a certified EAFs to submit by the end of this month. I do have the letter of approval that just came in, so we just need to go through the process and provide the EAFs to them, and we should be all set. Public announcements. Earth Day is being recognized Saturday, April 20th, 2024. The town of Champlain has scheduled a Prospect Road cleanup on April 20th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. to pick up the vast amount of litter along this corridor from the village of Champlain to the village of Rouse's Point. To get that whole corridor done, I need more volunteers, so please volunteer. And this isn't in this report, but I just have to add, I wish we didn't have to pick that up annually. But we get it nice and clean, and within weeks, we've already got litter. So please, whoever's littering, please stop. Bring it to a public garbage can if you have to. Just don't throw it out the window. We would also hope to complete a section of Route 276, by Route 276 by the high school if possible, depending on attendance and time, and I have to contact the school to see if I can get the outdoor club to work on that. The town of Champlain has litter along many of our town roads. In addition to this group effort we're organizing, we ask all of our residents to please help by picking up the litter on the road near your property. We thank you in advance for helping to keep our town beautiful and attractive to visitors. And Arbor Day is being recognized Saturday, April 27th, 2024. The Village of Champlain will be holding events in the Clark Hurdick Playground for Arbor Day. There will be children's activities starting at 10 a.m., followed by a tree planting provided by the Village of Champlain and the Rouse's Point Champlain Kiwanis Club. That'll be at 11 a.m. And I invite the council members to attend that with me to show that support. And then additionally, the Rouse's Point Champlain Kiwanis Club will be donating and planting a tree in Bob Venn Park on Arbor Day. Therefore, we on the board need to get together and choose a location for the tree. The tree planting is tentatively scheduled for April 27th at approximately 1 p.m. So sometime after we're done in the park and the village will be heading over there to plant a tree. So please join us if you can. And again, thank you to the Kiwanis for your generous donation to our park for the 3rd year in a row. Reminder that the New York State burn ban went into effect on March 16th and will remain in effect through May 14th. We just held another informational gathering for our seniors with Rural Law Center of New York, RLCNY, here at the town offices. We had a nice turnout of approximately 8 seniors who attended that one, and they were able to get many of their estate planning and general legal matter questions answered. We wish to thank RLCNY for this service, and most importantly, I'd like to thank our Secretary Sarah Gagno and Town Clerk Julie Castine for their time arranging this event. Thank you. And note, There will be another informational session hosted by the Office of the Aging here at the town office on June 6th at 1 p.m. And there will be another informational session with Rule Law, RLC New York, for seniors legal matters here on August 20th at 12 noon, both here in the town office. If anyone needs assistance scheduling for RSV and or COVID vaccines, you may contact us at the Town of Champlain office. We will assist you with the online process, and also we have COVID test kits and masks still available here at the town if you need them. Rouse's Point Fireman all-you-can-eat breakfast is scheduled for April 14th, 8 to noon. And, sorry, Jason, I threw this on here, the next food truck, Love Peace Grilled Cheese, or Love Peace and Grilled Cheese?
Yes. One piece grilled cheese.
Love Peace Grilled Cheese is here at the town offices, April 18th from 4 to 6:30. And there's a special spring event for grades K through 3 at the Dodge Memorial Library in Rouse's Point on April 13th. Elementary students, grade K through 3, are invited to the library for a special spring read-along, snacks, and some fun activities to welcome the spring season. Please check with the Village of Rouse's Point if interested, as there was limited space available. There's evening poetry. I'm not going to pronounce this man's last name, so with Michael at the Rouse's Point Rec Center. Our friend Michael will present a program titled "I've Been Up to the Mountain, I've Walked Down by the Sea," and present poems from his many decades of adventures in mountains and by the sea. And there'll be open mic after the presentation, free and open to the public. The first free rabies clinic is being held in Morrisonville Fire Station on April 23rd, but Rouse's Point Fire Department will be hosting a rabies clinic on September 24th, 2024. For any of these rabies clinics, you must pre-register by calling the Clinton County Health Department at 518-565-4870. Again, the town would like to appoint more alternates to the Zoning Board of Appeals and the Planning Board. Please consider serving the town in this capacity, as we need talented citizens of this township to become involved and assist us in moving forward. Please contact me if you have interest for details. And please note, I am in my office every weekday, 9:45 to 1. Please feel free to stop in, and I will be happy to discuss the town's projects and objectives with you. My door is always open, but it may be best to call first, as there are many appointments and meetings that fill the schedule. And thank you to all veterans and active military men and women for your service. And also thank you to all first responders, both paid and volunteer, of our EMS and fire departments. And thank you to our police officers for your dedication to your community. Report from the council members. Councilmember Southwick?
Well, I don't have all those wonderful things to report, but I do have to report that our planning board meeting that was scheduled on 4/4 was canceled, secondary to our recent spring weather event. The next meeting is scheduled on May 2nd. The agenda item that was 4/4 will be presented then. You can review the minutes from March 7th. They are now on the website, town website, under planning board minutes. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you very much. Councilmember Bory.
Yep. I'll start with the ZBA, Zoning Board of Appeals. They met on the 21st of March. And it looks like there was only really one piece of business on the agenda. Julie, correct me if I'm wrong. But there's a scheduled public hearing for this coming Thursday, is that correct? Or next Thursday?
Next Thursday.
Next Thursday. So on the 18th of April, that's also the food truck day. So at 5:30, there'll be a public hearing for, is it a variance? Is that what it's asking for, I think?
Yes,
Yeah.
area variance.
Yeah, area variance. All right, that's on the 18th of April, right here at the town office. If anybody sees marketing ads on Facebook from the town of Champlain, feel free to share those. The more traction that posts get, whether we're sharing an investment post, or whether it's an activity, a community event. When those things are shared, that's really where the notoriety comes in. It may not be because people are coming to our Facebook page, it's because people are sharing it and passing it on through other places, other Facebook pages. So please keep that in mind. When you see a post and you like it, go ahead and share it. That really does help the traffic on it.
Agreed.
And please be looking out for those. We have, again, if you have an event, the supervisor went through several different things. If you have an event that is something that should be posted on our Facebook page, should be posted on our website, please let us know. We can't promote things if we don't know about them. They can't go on our calendar if we don't know about them. So please, we encourage the community members to make us aware of what's going on in case we don't know about it. Hometown Heroes, I'll segue here, Hometown Heroes, we have all of the proofs for the banners for this year, the new banners, and they look really great. We're using a new vendor this year for the Hometown Hero banners, and it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be a nice move. So people should be seeing those new banners up in May. We're really excited. The supervisor mentioned this, but we are recycling Eclipse glasses here at the town office. We're also doing so at the school as well. So if anybody has any Eclipse glasses they'd like to let someone else use, we'll be more than happy to take those. You mentioned the food truck. That's April 18th, 4 to 6:30 here at the town office. Also, there's a water safety instruction course that's being held May 21st through June 6th for certifying lifeguards. As the supervisor mentioned, we're looking to reboot the swim program here at the school, and we will need instructors and lifeguards to be part of that process. So if there are interested individuals, feel free to call the town office here. We can get you in contact with the right individual for that water instruction course, water safety instruction course. Rouse's Point Stars and Stripes on the Lake, Independence Day celebration, still looking for volunteers, vendors, food trucks, parade entries, sponsors for the celebration, which is going to be June 28th through the 30th in the village of Rouse's Point. You can check out all of the information on their website at rpstarsandstripes.com. That's rpstarsandstripes.com. And finally, I'll put in a shameless plug for the musical at NCCS. The NCCS Drama Club is producing and putting on the production of Annie, April 26, 27, and 28, right at the high school. There are 4 performances, 7 o'clock on Friday, the 26th, 2 and 7 o'clock on the 27th, and 2 o'clock on the 28th. Come support all of the hardworking students that are working on stage, off stage, to make this production possible. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm looking forward to it.
So ends the report.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Bore. Councilmember Moore.
Do you mind if I pass around the cemetery book?
No, not at all.
Town cemeteries, it would give the other councilman an idea of what we do with the cemeteries that we have, about a dozen. That's published by Clyde Rabideau, actually, from Rouse's Point, the priest. And the yellow markers are the town cemeteries that we're responsible for.
The ones that are marked with the...
Yeah.
My goodness, there's quite a few of them.
There is.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
There is. We own 3. 3 of them are deeded to the town.
Yeah.
The rest we're just responsible for
Yeah.
maintaining.
Right, and, is this a good time to bring up?
Go ahead, yeah.
We discussed improving the Perry's Mill Cemetery There are very old headstones there. We found, some headstones were literally over the riverbank. We brought them up. There's several that are knocked down. The headstones are knocked down on the ground,
About a dozen.
about a dozen. Some are broken, some aren't. It's in need of repair. I mean, Tom mentioned, you know, he drove by it in the school bus and it doesn't look that bad. You know, I've driven by it, the Perry's Mill Cemetery. Yeah, it looks like a good cemetery. You get out and you look and you find out that every year it's just gonna keep getting worse.
Yeah.
And we had an outside contractor come look at it. He gave us some figures. Of course, everything is high. I mean, it just is in this day and age.
Well, there's a lot of work involved in
Oh, yeah,
in restoring a
In the equipment.
down, broken monument, you know. I think I provided you all with pictures. It kind of depicts what has to be done. It has to be completely dug out and then a new base of stone put in. Did you get a chance to try to see if anybody else could quote it, or?
I got some feelers out there. Hold on one sec. I did call, I won't say names, the one we talked about. And I talked to his spouse, and this is the busy season for monuments and putting in
Yeah,
stone.
spring burials.
Spring burials, exactly, so she said he's been up at dawn and, you know, back home after dark, and I said, well, don't call tonight, try and call me tomorrow. She said she doesn't know what he could do, but he does do that stuff. I mean, he's very familiar with it, and he has power equipment to do it, so it seems it would go quickly, but she's not sure if he'd be interested in it. I said, this isn't something that has to be done this week. I mean, if he has to wait until the busy season is over, you know, that's not a problem with us, as long as it gets done this year. That would be our.
Well, what we need is a cost estimate.
Yes, and the second letter from the contractor we talked to, I mean, I was looking on it, it didn't give the number of monuments or headstones that would be done.
It's supposed to be 6. I don't know if it's in a previous email or not, but it's supposed to be 6.
I don't think it was in either email. I think we just need a better quote
Mhm.
to compare apples to apples.
Well, it sounds like if you haven't got an
And-
answer from the other organization, then when we get to new business, we're probably gonna have to table this until
Yes,
the
I
April
think so.
29th meeting.
And it also occurred to me that I could call a couple churches who have done business because they have large, you know, St. Mary's has a huge cemetery, St. Patrick's has a huge cemetery, St. Joseph's has a huge cemetery.
I don't know if they've done any of that work or not.
They don't, but there are a lot of times private individuals will do work, and they have to work with the church, because the church doesn't want someone who's not qualified coming in, fixing the foundation, and 2 years later it starts to go over.
Right.
So, it would be good to find out who they've seen working with them. So I left messages there. Also, I don't really wanna name names because I don't know if these people are really into it. There's also another person that does it locally, but they're not, the church secretary wasn't sure if they were doing it still, but that was what they did in the past.
There was a large cemetery in Shazy. Was there a lot of work done down there at one time? It's on Route 9 going
Yes.
south.
Yeah, they,
I don't know who's in charge of that cemetery.
it's in there.
Is it?
Yes, that has all of the northern third of Clinton County.
Right.
Jay-Z and
So-
Peyton John.
So to summarize, it sounds like when we get to new business, we'll have to table it until the 29th. And then you're gonna have to gather a lot more information so we can make a decision on the 29th.
Yeah,
But once you nail down, like, say subject A that you're waiting to talk to because he was too busy, I'd really like to know how he does it, because I was really impressed with the method that this guy does
yeah,
to dig that completely out and make a new stone foundation.
yeah, well, I think the one you asked me to call about, she said he's been doing it for 50 years, so, you know, so
I'd like to know what the methods are, yeah, so see if we can.
well, they're, you know, I mean, I'm not too concerned about them, because they're the ones who put in the foundations and the bases and the headstones in 90% of the northern tier,
Yeah,
you know, they're, so I think they know what they're doing, but there's another person who just did a little bit locally on the side, but he did it for many years, so he might be good. It's like a lot of things, there used to be a lot of people that do it, now there aren't. But I thought it would be good if, you know, just to find out who the church is approved of, you know, they aren't gonna let just anybody go in,
mhm.
because they have to live with that. If the monument goes over or the foundation is crooked, they are responsible, the church is responsible for it, so they are very picky about who they allow in. And they may not have anybody, I don't know, but I thought that in the next couple of days, I should be able to get back some more information.
Right, so when you talk to them, just make sure they also do the repair of broken headstones and
Yes.
and the cleaning as well.
Yes,
So we're looking at
just-
apples to apples.
Yeah, I wish we had a specific, you know, like, the price for the repair is a certain amount, but it doesn't, that's it.
No, it's just a total.
Yeah, but I
So
mean,
that's-
it doesn't give me anything to,
I can get him to email with the details, but I can tell you what it includes. It includes digging up the old foundation completely,
well, it would be best if he.
repairing the base, repairing the headstone, putting them back together,
Yeah, he,
resetting it and cleaning it all. But
well,
I'll
he
get him to
has,
send a new email.
it's just,
You were there.
how many is he gonna do?
And it was
He's gonna do a
6.
good job,
It was 6.
but I don't have that, you know what I mean?
No, but you were there that day.
Yeah, yes, but
That's what we decided on.
I'm
was 6
a
ones.
cynic. I
I'll get a
love
better,
people
I'll
around
get a
here,
better quote, I'll
I
get more
trust
detail,
but,
but, I mean, you were with me that day, that is what he
yeah,
said.
and
6
it was
stones.
fixing the stones, that was very important. But, you know, here it doesn't say that, you know, I will clean all the monuments and the bases. Well, does that mean all the monuments in the cemetery, or just the ones he worked on?
And that was just the 6 that he's working on.
Yeah, but it doesn't say that.
I know, I'll send him an email.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I hate to be picky, but, you know, the guy goes through and says, yeah, I'll fix this one, this one, this one, and,
Well, it should be specific and outlined.
Yeah, if you told me before the meeting, I would've.
well, no, it's not the end of the world, because there may not be any competition, you know. But I would like to see what else is out there, because it's very expensive. Tom and I have discussed it, that it's probably gonna take more than one phase over the course of more
Oh,
than
God,
1 year.
this will take a long time. So we budgeted 5,000 for
Mm.
this year, because we said we gotta get started. They haven't had attention ever. And after seeing this one, I'm guessing if we only do 5,000 a year, we're looking at probably 10 to 15 years before we get 3 of them done.
Well, I hope not 3, but.
Oh, it's gonna take a
I
while.
know, it will, if,
You
you're
have
inter-
7 tabs here though, Brian, you're only talking about 3.
We're talking about the 3 we own to
there's more
start
than-
with.
Yeah,
Oh,
And Alan said
Well-
that the little ones that we attend to are in pretty good shape. These 3 are the ones that are in the worst condition.
yeah, but that's,
I'm not saying we don't go to them
like the
at some
Chute
point, but we
Cemetery.
don't own them.
The Chute Cemetery has stones that are over the fence, just like,
But that's one that we own.
yeah, no, I don't think so. I don't wanna
It's Ridge
really
Road.
get into this much more because
That's
it's,
Ridge Road.
no, the Chute Cemetery? No, that's, oh, look it up in there.
And it's Ridge Road.
I thought, which is the one, the Civil War veterans,
Shoots.
it's Chutes, that's on the Ridge Road?
Before you get to the corner of McCray Road.
There it is.
Okay.
Anyways, that gives everybody a good idea where we're at.
Well, yeah, and there's a lot there, there's a lot there.
The McCray Road, where it meets up with the big, what is that, Rapids Road?
It's
not McCray.
It's not
McCray?
McCray. Yeah, I said Ridge, I'm sorry, Rapids.
Okay,
Rapids.
all right,
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
I said, that was
Yes,
my mistake. I meant,
well,
sometimes I don't say what I mean. Especially when it comes to names.
yeah,
No, but I meant the Rapid Road.
yeah, there are stones that have, you know, been
Yeah,
thrown away.
that one's in bad condition.
You know, it's like I couldn't believe when we went to Perry's Mill Cemetery, the rumor was, you hear this at every cemetery, you know, the rumors are that people threw headstones over the edge, and, you know, there were some here that were over the edge, that just been thrown over the riverbank. And I'm sure the Chute Cemetery has that, I've seen that myself down there, but they were huge stones, there's no way.
In the corner of the Chutes Cemetery, there's like a area that's all overgrown with trees. There's a lot of broken headstones that have been thrown in that area.
Yeah, which
So
we
they're,
should probably
they're
get.
in, they're in the brush and trees,
Yeah,
yeah.
if we could get the brush and trees, it would be a lot easier to retrieve the stones.
So that will be on the list, but I think what we need to determine is whether we get started with whom. 'Cause I think we need to get started this year. There's no way we're gonna tackle a cemetery per year, there's not enough funds.
But
When we
there's a
get- When we get
lot,
the budget, we'll see how this goes, when we get to budget season, if we budget a little more next year, we can get a little more done at one time, but
there's a
there
ton
is-
of history.
we'll have to take out a loan if you wanna do all three of them.
There's a ton of history in some of these. And, when you look at that book, it's here at the town office, and it's also available from, Father Clyde Lewis in Rouse's Point. You can find any name in northern county, and it will tell you where they're buried, within a zone in the cemetery. So if you're looking for your ancestor, you look up their last name, it'll tell you their wife's name, it'll tell you when she died, et cetera, and they're buried in which cemetery and which part of that cemetery. And, you know, we're losing that. And, Julie also has some other books on cemeteries that are older, but I don't know if how helpful they are. But we do need our heritage, to keep our heritage. I mean, some of these headstones get buried. I mean, they fall down, they get covered in grass.
We've got a couple in Perry's Mills and Creek Road Cemetery that are just barely at the surface.
And they're lost forever.
The lawnmower's been running, you know. It's not
Like any
hitting it, it's
archaeological
not-
dig, right, goes just layers and layers and layers.
And this guy explained to us, like, you know, the couple that were just laying, you know, the headstone is laying flat and it's just beneath the surface of the grass. It looks like it's been there for quite a few years. He said, I guarantee if we pull that up, there's a base down there somewhere underneath the ground. So eventually, the base, they sink into the ground, under the surface, then the stone goes over, and everything's hiding under there. So the large part of the labor is digging everything up to start rebuilding again.
Yes, and anyone who would be interested in helping to bring the Perry's Mill Cemetery back to life, Tom had mentioned that was the good cemetery to start with, because people had mentioned
People have interest.
that they have interest in the cemetery and would be willing to do a little bit of work, you know, even if it's just cutting the brush back and cleaning some of the stones, that it would be welcome, the town would, you know, welcome some help.
Yeah, we need the right method for cleaning, but.
I can dig that up. The DAR actually has a whole series on that.
Okay.
And I read it on YouTube, and it was very good. It was very good. It seems time consuming and difficult, but it's the right way to do it. And it was on the DAR website. So
Because you can damage some of the materials if you don't do it right.
that's what they were saying.
Mhm.
Yep. Some people were using muriatic acid. You know, and it's like, you should see what it did to my bricks. Somebody was using it to clean the bricks, and it works. It takes other things off too in your bathroom.
Okay?
Yes,
Anything else?
and we're gonna keep working on it. This is,
Well, when we get to a new business, we'll have to table it.
Yes, but I'm
I'd
just-
really like to address it on the 29th.
I will do my best, Tom, if everybody gets back to me by Friday, we should know, because we.
Well, that's fine, we got a couple of weeks.
Huh?
I said, we got a couple of weeks.
Yeah, well, as best I can.
And whatever you can share by email ahead of time would help us try to digest it better so we don't spend so much time discussing it. We'll have a better handle on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a lot of money, but it's good money that is well spent, I think, for the history of the town.
Mm-hmm, I agree.
And that, like I said, that book should be here at the town office by the end of the week. It's a town book. So you can look up any relative in northern Clinton County. I think it goes as far as Ellenburg, Shazy, West Shazy, Beekmantown, Moores, Perry's Mills, Coopersville, Rouse's Point, Champlain, because the cemeteries were broken up. You know, Coopersville was big at one point. Perry's Mills was big at one point, so they had their own cemeteries. So it'll tell you right where they're buried, if it would help.
Pretty much, yeah.
The longest I've ever talked.
I know. Did you have anything else?
No, but I talked to Tim and Alan were good at locating some of the town cemeteries that they maintain. So if you have any questions, they're helpful too.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll ask, because he
Yeah,
mows grass on every one of them all summer long, yeah, guys, so.
Is this yours?
I don't know.
Okay.
Find my.
Anything else, Brian?
no, thank you very much for your patience.
Thank you, Councilmember Moore. I have Councilmember Hunter's report sent to me. So he's reminding us of the burn ban, as I did, but he actually has some data. Since the ban was enacted in 2009, the average number of spring fires has decreased by 42.6%. That's a pretty large margin right there.
It's effective.
It's effective. Rouse's Point Fire Department will hold their firemen's breakfast on April 14th from 8 to noon. Town residents with dogs and cats are encouraged to mark their calendar for Clinton County Health Department's free rabies clinic on September 24th at the Rouse's Point Fire Department. Him and I were thinking alike. St. Patrick's Church continues to hold their weekly open food bank on Wednesdays from 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. That's every Wednesday. Community contributions are encouraged. In regards to the EDU committee, he has nothing to report at this time. Report from Government Resources for Small Businesses Workshop held on March 26th, which he attended via Zoom. This is where I get lost. Okay, so it was sponsored by Senator Gillibrand's office. The synopsis of this workshop is finding funding opportunities, getting matched with a lender, determine your business needs, meet criteria, and how to apply. So it's kind of summarizing what you learned. The representatives were the Small Business Administration, which is Dan Rickman from District Director from Syracuse. He discussed opportunities for loan programs. U.S. Economic Development Administration, Lucas Martin, Community Development Venture Capital Alliance of Capital Investing for Underinvested Markets, Minority Development Business Administration, Sharon Higgins, and New York State Empire State Development, Liz Luskin, Division of Small Business and Technical Development. He also had SCORE Northeast, volunteers are experienced entrepreneurs to help small business professionals start, develop, and grow businesses. Sounds like it was a pretty extensive webinar. And Gary Douglas from Northern Tier Chamber of Commerce was present. Resources from local Chamber of Commerce offers small business service regarding workshops and seminars and SCORE counselors. So, the small business answer service is here to help answer your questions or connect you with the right people. And he has all the websites. I don't know if he didn't send this to you guys, I don't believe, right? I could forward it off to you because it has all the links if you want to take a look at it. And so ends Councilmember Hunter's report. Report from the town clerk.
You have my monthly report for approval.
Yes, we all have it. I welcome a motion to approve it as presented.
And I'll make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? I see that it's a total of $704, right, Julie?
Yes.
That's good. If not, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Review of the post audit bills, the abstract. Anybody have any questions regarding the abstract? If not, we'll move to monthly bills, which I'll need a motion to approve as presented, and we'll have discussion. Motion and second, please.
I'll make a motion to approve the post audit bills.
Okay. And a second, and we'll,
I'll second that.
thank you. Any discussion? I made a couple of notes. If you do have questions, hopefully I can answer them. I do want to point out that this is much better than the beginning of the quarter. Because of a lot of our large payments have been taken care of, this was nice and small.
Yeah, well, that 210,000 was
I know,
a large one.
I know. I mean, if you look down here at like the court grant / chairs, that payment is coming out of the, that grant fund was already deposited, so it's coming from the grant, it's not from budgeted account. It's from the municipal court grant.
And that was through Kevin.
Yes,
Good job.
yes.
That's-
And then if you go to the last one, the invoice for the comprehensive plan, that was for AES. There will be more of those as we proceed down this process. So now we have to invoice the state ESD for their portion. You know, they'll reimburse us, but it has to be invoiced, and then we have to wait for the funds. So we'll be doing that several times, because, you know, the engineering firm is not gonna wait until the end to seek payment. So it's gonna be done on a more or less a quarterly basis, I guess. Any further questions or comments? If not, roll call please, Julie.
Councilmember Southwick,
Aye.
Councilmember Warren,
Aye.
Councilmember Moore,
Aye.
Supervisor Trombley.
Aye. Thank you. We don't have a report from the code enforcement officer at this time. So when we receive it, I'll email it out. Report from the highway superintendent. I'd like to just reiterate that Alan is hoping to start cleaning equipment and then cleaning roads soon, probably this week, but, you know, it looks like the forecast is safe. You never know, I guess, till after Mother's Day, but this is our country. Correspondence, we had one again from Charter Communications for notifications, and you had your zoning board minutes, and now new business. So, the letter from the legislator, from Calvin Castine, in regards to the tethering law. So they're asking us to provide feedback on where we would like to see this go. Option one, we are content with the current situation of your town enforcing the existing New York State Ag and Markets law regarding this matter, and see no need for a new law. Do you feel that's not one of our options, or is one of our options? So I don't know if we want to just take a vote around the table to determine how we're gonna do this. You can note it down for that. What's your opinion how we should form our decision?
Discussion, I guess.
Yeah, I'd like to discuss a couple of things. I know that
Mm-hmm.
the presentation made by our legislator was pretty opinionated. And I don't know as if, you know, you met with supervisors from other towns?
At a supervisor meeting, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, you know, so other towns within the county. It
Did
was
that
only-
come up for discussion?
It did. There was, I'm trying to think how many towns and villages, 1, 2, 3, 4. There was about 6 of us there. We also had the mayor from the city of Plattsburgh. But the consensus was around that table, was they would like to see the county write the law.
And it'll be uniform throughout the county.
Yes, and I guess I kinda gotta agree with Calvin that I think the dog enforcement officer's gonna have to be the first line of defense. But regardless, I mean, they would have to come up with the criteria. And we would have to follow whatever that criteria is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was that consensus from that day. I mean, the majority were in agreement with that.
That the county would come up with, and
Yes,
but each
from-
town
from
would,
that round
would
table.
enforce it,
Yes,
right?
yes. Each town would have to enforce it. Agreed.
You know, the reason I like that is, you know, you have the village of Champlain, it still has a different dog law than outside. And, you know, it's gotta be harder for the dog control officer and to keep up on, you know, where you are, where if you go into the town, you don't have to worry if you're in Rouse's Point, or the village of Champlain, or the town of Champlain.
One uniform law.
It's all the same, and it might be simpler for the dog control officer, I don't know, but I mean, I think it would be simpler if you don't have to worry about that. Or he gets lent out to say Shazy or another municipality because, you know, they're short a dog control officer
Mhm.
for a week. I mean, we've talked about that, and they cover us when our dog control officer isn't available. I don't know if that's the right solution, it seems like a good solution, but, I mean,
But I guess the,
the dog control officer has to enforce it no matter what, no matter which one we pick, so it's not.
So essentially, and I kind of wrote notes down here about option 3, if you have laws in all the different villages and towns, then Jody, our dog control officer,
Mhm.
would have to know each and every single one of those laws, where your
Mhm.
line is drawn, and then this way, if there was one uniform law, you wouldn't have to worry so much about it.
Right.
So that brings us to option one, option two. Option one is our current situation, which I'm not that familiar with.
Well, I can summarize it, you know, it's the New York State Ag and Markets Law regarding dogs being tied is they have to have shelter, they have to have food and water, and they have to be, you know, in good health, not being neglected.
Yeah.
So what happens is if, you know, somebody calls because they feel strongly that a dog shouldn't be tied up, especially if it's in severe weather, either hot or cold, and the dog control officer has to go there and verify that it's meeting all those needs. You know, Jennifer started this because she feels they shouldn't be tied out there 24 hours a day, and I don't
Yeah.
disagree with that. I think no matter which option we choose, you know, how we label these down, the interesting thing would be how to set those standards and then how to enforce them.
You know, what becomes the stricter law? What does that exactly mean?
Right.
I mean, you can pick option one, option two, option three, but if you're going to have a stricter law and a new law is being passed, what is the criteria for that law?
Yeah, and I think you can use the Essex County law as one of them to see, you know, they put time limits to the length of time the dog can be tied. So then one can argue, how do you prove that? As I stated, you have to have somebody willing to step up and, you know, sign that dog complaint form, be willing to go to court if needed. I don't know, maybe the standards will help and will keep people from tying, period.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Which-
I think something needs to be done, if we were to write the law, I think we have a lot more work to do to figure out what that criteria is gonna be. If the county's gonna do it, they're gonna have the same thing, they're not gonna just rubber stamp another county's law, they're gonna have to really give it some thought. So if they're asking us, you know, do we want them to write it instead of us, I would vote yes, I think that's the better way to go. Even though, yeah, we're gonna have to enforce what they come up with.
Yeah, and there'd be public hearings and more discussion, with, you know, that
Right.
we have a chance to put our input in,
Yeah, there'd have to be, yes.
so, I don't think it'd be too drastic, I mean, it would just be more of a consolidation of the various town laws, and try and put them all together so that they, take the best parts that work, and the ones that don't work, don't put in. But I don't know, it just seems simpler for a dog control officer, and again, you know, like, they talk about, or Calvin was talking about, yeah, there has to be a dog control officer, even if the guy's retired or gone somewhere, you have to have a municipal agreement with every extra dog catcher to come in and do your area, and now he's got a whole complete set of different laws, maybe 2 or 3 in the town.
No, this needs to be consistent. So
Yes.
with that, I guess I'd like us to make a decision. Option one, the answer would be yes, there's a need for some sort of revision, a new law to revise, define something more specific for tethering, though it's already here. Okay, and then option two, would be, if I'm hearing right, I haven't heard from Jason yet though. It sounds like we're leading that, yes, we'd like to see the county write the law and then the towns enforce it accordingly. Do you agree with that?
It seems to make the most sense, especially based on what we're hearing. We're hearing somebody who is talking about a township that's not our jurisdiction, so we can write the strictest law on the planet, but it's not really affecting, I think, what the intended purpose of this is, and that is to have some more uniformity, which is what we're all talking about. It's probably best done at the county level.
I think so.
So option two is, we're leaning towards option two.
As our first choice,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
yeah.
I would agree.
And option three, if we're forced down that road because the county votes not to do it and it gets pushed back on the towns, then I'm assuming we're going to start digging deeper and we're gonna have to figure it out and write it.
Which is another thing that we don't need to get
Well,
into.
it kind of makes sense for me for one committee on the county level to write one law than 7 towns working on it individually. Right? So, okay, so I'll provide that feedback, Mr. Castine. And next would be, okay, letter from Bruce Sawyer for the Creek Road Cemetery. That's a discussion that we've already had, so we're gonna table that. I'd like a motion, I guess, to table that until our next meeting.
Is that the 29th?
Yeah, we got a resolution to read regarding that, yes. So, motion to table the quote for the Creek Road Cemetery project.
Make a motion, we put off the decision on the Creek Road Cemetery project until the April 29th meeting.
Yes, and I'll second that. Any further discussion? Not all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. So I'll go down to our business. Now we're resolution 21 of 2024. That is classifying the Bob Ben Outdoor Fitness Court and Pickleball Court project as an unlisted action or secret. I have 2 corrections, Julie, on the resolution. I'm gonna read them as such. I need to standardize, I'm going back and forth in a couple of spots between center and court, and technically it's a fitness court. Resolution 21 of 2024, classifying the Bob Ben Outdoor Fitness Court and Pickleball Court project as an unlisted action under State Environmental Quality Review, seeker, and to propose that the Town of Champlain Town Board serve as the lead agency to conduct an uncoordinated review under seeker. Whereas the Town of Champlain is constructing an outdoor fitness court and pickleball court within the town's Bob Ben Park, and whereas the town board is required to conduct an environmental review based on criteria that the project will disturb more than 4,000 gross square feet within the 10.8 acre parcel of land, and whereas 6 NYCRR Part 617 of the State Environmental Quality Review Act, SECRA, requires that a lead agency be established for conducting environmental review of projects in accordance with the local and state environmental law, and whereas state law specifies that for actions governed by local environmental review, the lead agency shall be that local agency which has primary responsibility for approving and carrying out the action. And whereas this is deemed as a, another typo, I'm sorry. This is deemed an unlisted action under SECRA, and whereas the town board of the town of Champlain will act as lead agency in evaluating the action. Now, therefore be it resolved that no other involved agencies have been identified, and therefore the town will undertake an uncoordinated review of the action. And be it further resolved that the town board of the town of Champlain hereby declares itself lead agency for the environmental review of the Bob Ben Outdoor Fitness Center, Court, and Pickleball Court project. Motion to approve as read.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 21 of 2024 as read by the supervisor.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is resolution 22 of 2024 to set a public hearing to conduct state environmental review for proposed outdoor fitness court and pickleball courts at Bob Venn Park. Whereas the town board desires to hold a public hearing with respect to conducting a state environmental quality review seeker of the Bob Venn Park property, and whereas the construction of the fitness court and pickleball courts will require removing the topsoil in an area of approximately 5,800 square feet, therefore requiring an environmental review. And now therefore it is hereby ordered that a public hearing be held by this town board with respect to seeker of the Bob Venn property at 5:30 p.m. on April 29, 2024 at the Town of Champlain Municipal Building, 10729 Route 9, Champlain, New York. And be it further ordered that the town clerk of the Town of Champlain is hereby authorized and directed to publish a notice of the public hearing in the Plattsburgh Press Republican, the official newspaper of the town for such publication, and post on the signboard of the town maintained pursuant to subdivision 7 of section 30 of the town law. A copy of this order certified by said town clerk, publication thereof, and said posting to be not less than 10 nor more than 20 days before the date of such public hearing, and therefore be it resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately. Motion to approve said resolution?
Do you know I can't be at this meeting?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's a Monday night.
Okay. Put it up, take notes.
Record it.
I thought we, that's why we chose the 29th.
I don't know, I didn't know what anybody chose.
Well, nobody got back to me on whether it was the daytime of the 28th, I believe, or the 5:30 p.m. on the 29th. So, because I had no feedback, I went with this.
No, I did, that week I had nothing going on, but, it's hard in the daytime, because, night,
Yeah,
and Rick will be back, right?
Yeah.
So,
Why can't we do the 30th,
No,
or the Tuesday?
we can. I get to reread this if I do that?
We just change the date.
yeah.
Well, we have that's the, that's not right.
Is 5:30 still good for you on the 30th?
I could make it,
Well,
for me.
do you have to be here, Julie, or can you record it?
Well, I don't have to be here, if you wanna.
Well, it's nice to have you here, but I mean,
I mean, if you, it doesn't matter to me, but I'm just telling you, I can't be here. I can give you the recorder.
what works, I'm good anytime.
I can go either way. I just have to back up and just change the date.
I'm okay.
yeah, I'm okay,
Whatever you need to do.
as long as it's not during the daytime.
So 5:30 and the 30th?
5:30 is good.
Okay, so I'm just gonna reread the date. Now therefore it is hereby ordered that a public hearing be held by this town board with respect to seeker of the Bob Venn property at 5:30 p.m. on April 30th, 2024. At the Town of Champlain Municipal Building, 10729 Route 9, Champlain, New York. Motion to approve resolution with a new date.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution with the new date of April 30th at 5:30 p.m. at the town office.
Okay. I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I'll get that corrected to you, Julie, okay? So resolution 23 of 2024 to adopt a policy entitled certification of electrical inspectors for official electrical inspection services for the town of Champlain. So resolution 23 of 2024, resolution to certify electrical inspectors for official electrical inspection services for the town of Champlain. Whereas any person or legal entity may apply to the town board for permission to conduct electrical inspections, this application shall be accompanied by a $100 non-refundable fee and shall include the following documentation: Independence Alliance of Electrical Industry, which is IAEI certifications, and/or Electrical Inspector 1 and 2 Family Dwelling plus Electrical Inspector General, and the required continuing education units, CEUs, to maintain both certifications. Proof of maintaining $5,000 liability insurance and, excuse me. That was supposed to be $1 million liability insurance and supply certificate with town of Champlain as a certificate holder. Maintain and supply annually certificate of New York State Workers' Compensation Insurance. Maintain and supply annually certificate of New York State Disability Insurance. And all cancellation notices of insurance shall be sent to the town of Champlain upon issuance. And supply the current rate schedule for inspections. And whereas the application shall be submitted to the code enforcement officer, who shall review the same and who shall make an investigation as to the qualifications of the applicant. Within 30 days after the submission of the completed application, the code enforcement officer shall deliver copies of the complete application to the town board with a recommendation for approval or disapproval. Within 30 days after receipt of the application and recommendation, the town board shall approve or disapprove the application. Failure of the town board to act within said period shall be deemed an approval of the application. And whereas upon approval, the code enforcement officer shall issue a letter of certification addressed to the applicant that the town board has found the applicant to be qualified electrical inspector. Such certification shall remain in full force and effect unless rescinded for costs pursuant to a hearing held on not less than 10 days. I fixed these. I must have an older copy. Written notice to the inspector. Notice may be delivered personally or by regular and certified mail. Upon delivery of such notice or upon mailing of the same, certification shall be suspended pending a determination. And whereas in the event that the applicant is not approved, the town board may grant the applicant an opportunity to be heard on the merits of the applicant at a regular or special meeting of the town board to be held within 60 days after notice of disapproval is made to the applicant. And whereas it shall be the duty of the code enforcement officer to maintain a current list of all qualified electrical inspectors for the town of Champlain, including their addresses, telephone numbers, dates of approval by the town board, and dates of issuance of the certification, the code enforcement officer will be responsible for providing a current list of all certified inspectors to the town clerk on an annual basis or upon certification or decertification of an inspector. And whereas failure to complete and submit the required information or the giving of false information in the initial application and or the renewal of an electrical inspection license shall result in termination of the inspection agency's approval to conduct business in the town of Champlain. And now, therefore, be it resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately, and be it further resolved that the questions of the foregoing were duly put to vote on roll call, which resulted as follows. Bless you. Motion to approve said resolution as written.
Motion to approve resolution number 23.
Do you have the right date
Whereabouts?
at the bottom?
No, I've got a back copy here. I know I fixed that. I think I fixed it electronically. Sent it for review to our legal counsel, and I didn't change it. So that should be April 9th on the bottom.
I think also, Tom, this is a newer version I printed out,
Mm-hmm.
and you missed a sentence that says, whereas the town board by board resolution may revise this policy from time to time. Do you have that one on there?
No, this is an older version that
Okay,
got into my pile. This is,
Okay.
cause I have corrections here that I made. That one has the policy attached.
correct.
Do both
No,
other council
I
members
just
have
printed
that?
it out this afternoon when I got
that's
home.
from the one from the emailed agenda.
Mhm.
Okay,
I can make a motion to approve resolution number 23 with the amendments
Mhm.
and changes.
do you want me to read them?
Yes, probably.
Cause there is one additional sentence on that
Yes,
one.
that should be added into the record.
Yeah, I don't know how
You want the,
this one got in there.
do you need council member Southwick's copy?
I
There
do.
you go.
I do, thank you.
There you go.
Yeah, it's page 2.
It was just at the bottom.
Correct, so, the last paragraph on this one was to, fail to complete and submit required information or give false information, etc. Then after that, it's whereas the town board by board resolution may revise this policy from time to time if necessary. Policy is attached, and it's essentially this document without the whereases, and step 1, step 2, step 3, etc. Does that sound all right?
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution number 23 with said amendments, as presented by the supervisor.
Okay, thank you,
And I'll second that motion.
thank you. Could I have roll call, please?
Councilmember Southwick,
Aye.
Councilmember Bory,
Aye.
Councilmember Moore,
Aye.
Supervisor Trumbull.
Aye. Thank you very much. So I'll, so that concludes new business. There's, one other I wanna bring up that needs to be added to old business for our next meeting, and that is, we need to address additional revisions to water, chapter 124. Brian is aware of this. So we have a new service, going in on the Haver Road. So in the past week or two, we had to determine how to get that accomplished within our code. And the only issue we ran into, I mean, we determined how to mitigate getting things installed, because the code does not, it does specify that we are not, paying for this, or this, and that the meter needs to be installed by town. So I consulted with the town of Plattsburgh, and, because our code is written, at least the revisions that we did this past year, was based a lot off of Plattsburgh's code. And what they do is all that miscellaneous equipment, the valves, the horn, the PRV, all that plumbing that has to get done inside the house, those materials are provided to the homeowner and/or / contractor who's doing the work, whichever it may be, for installation. And when they get it installed, then they call the town, and the town simply goes down and puts the meter in and turns the water on. So we are following suit with that. And the homeowner's been provided that. The problem we found in the code is the specificity that it's only Chris that can do it. And there's gonna be times when he can't. And we need to be able to use the village, hopefully, or to be that backup if we have to get that meter installed. So we're going through the code. I went through about 2/3 of it today. And there's a lot of places where it goes back and forth with the description of it's either the town or the superintendent of water or the town water operator.
codes officers,
It's all kind, it goes
town
back and forth.
employees.
So we're gonna have to have another revision, because we missed that. We did one that said that superintendent of water and town water operator were equal.
Yeah.
But now we gotta be specific when we just say the town, or we say town employee, what does that mean? So I'm thinking when I get through it, I think we can do it in the definitions. Otherwise, we're gonna have a lot of revisions throughout the document.
Yeah.
So I need you to finish going through it, we need to get back together
Yeah,
within the next week or so, and hopefully we can start dealing with that, start writing up the revision and moving forward. So we're not, so our hands aren't tied, because right now they're tied.
Sure.
You know, it's pretty sad, but you don't find the problems until you have the work in front of you, you have the example, and then you go, and then we're like, huh, never thought of that, didn't realize it. Of course, that code is only this thick.
and the trouble is, there's a fair amount of revisions, and you gotta make sure you've got the right definitions and the right pages for the right time. It's, you know,
Mhm.
that's why we're updating the code, you know. I mean, the entire code book, it's, so many things get added and changed that after a while you lose a page and you don't realize it's been updated or different definition.
Yeah, so I'm not saying we'll be ready with that revision for the April 29th, but maybe we'll have some information for you, and maybe by the May meeting, we can start the process if we're lucky, and get it enacted within a couple of months. So anyways, I just wanted that to get added to old business, Julie. The other old business was revision of chapter 17, which again, that's in regards to naming all the papers that don't exist anymore that we advertise in, so I've gotta revise that. It'll get done, I promise. Any other business to bring in front of the board?
There's no problems with the CDL classifications. That agreement,
We approved that last month, didn't we? Is that what you mean?
it was in this,
That
It was done last month.
Mhm.
oh, it was in my packet. I thought there was a problem or something. But it was in my
No,
packet.
that I know of. It was completed, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I have no problem.
Okay.
I just, it's in my packet, so I should. Okay.
Well, it was like, this one was in there, I'm not sure what happened with that resolution, I'm sorry. So if there's no other business, our next business meeting is scheduled for April 30th. That's a special meeting, to deal with conducting seeker and any other business that comes before the board. And then our next regular business meeting is scheduled for May 14th, 2024. Now I welcome a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
I
Any opposed? Motion carries. 9:17.
Yes.